have always had enough time.
And so I said, "Sir, this is a library." Oh man, that is truly funny. Am I right? Wait, who is that? Is this the abyss? What? No, this is a chill zone, dude. You want to go through that portal. Yeah, no, fuck that. What is with these people? They will just let anyone in here, I swear. Donsleaf is arguably the single most important character when talking about lore. It is almost impossible to discuss anything vital to the story without mentioning his involvement, and throughout the many videos I've made on Genshin lore, he is mentioned at least once in almost all of them. He may be wrapped with mystery, but from the very little we do know about him, he has proven to be completely ingratiated in almost every aspect of the lore. So by understanding Donsleaf, we can understand much of the world of Teyvat, how it works, and its history. But before we do that, we have to ask ourselves, just who is Donsleaf? To put it simply, Donsleaf is cursed with immortality, and has been roaming Teyvat for over 500 years. He helps a traveler fight the Abyss Order and seems to know a lot about Khaenri'ah and the Abyss. But where does he come from? Why was he cursed, and why is he so important to the story? Well, you see, he actually originates from Khaenri'ah, which is why he holds the unique Primogem-shaped eyes that only Khaenri'ahns have. The destruction of Khaenri'ah is one of the most important events in Genshin lore, so I'll be making a video specifically on that in the future, but in case you don't already know the history of Khaenri'ah, in short, it was an ancient underground civilization, which was unique in the sense that it was not governed by any Archon, much like the rest of the nations of Teyvat, but instead by a human government named the Eclipse Dynasty. It was extremely advanced due to the practice of the Art of Kemia, which was a form of advanced alchemy. Side note, this alchemy led to the destruction of Khaenri'ah, and Donsleaf has quietly threatened Albedo's life because of how dangerous this alchemy is that Albedo manages to practice. Through this alchemy, however, they were able to provide themselves with the necessities of life which were unavailable to them being underground. Unfortunately, this advanced alchemy was also the downfall of Khaenri'ah, as previously mentioned. One alchemist started creating life, and Celestia caught wind of these Khaenri'ahns trying to play God essentially, and sent the 7 Archons to yeet Khaenri'ah out of existence. Most of the vital information we know of Donsleaf was revealed at the end of We Will Be Reunited, where the Traveler's sibling details that Donsleaf was originally a royal guard in Khaenri'ah, and that he failed to protect his nation, so he was cursed with immortality. We learned then that Donsleaf is well over 500 years old, and he held a fairly high position in the Khaenri'ah dynasty. We also learned from Donsleaf himself that the reason he hunts the Abyss so vehemently is because of many of the mortals from Khaenri'ah being transformed into the monsters of the Abyss after the destruction. It is highly likely and very much implied that the site of the destruction of Khaenri'ah is where the Abyss is now located. When we are first introduced to Donsleaf, he is titled the Bowkeeper. Now, if you watched my video on ley lines, you'll know what this means already, but for those who haven't, I'll explain. A bow is simply an archaic word for branch. From these two titles, Royal Guard and Bowkeeper, we can surmise that Donsleaf's position in Khaenri'ah was that of a royal guard for a tree of some kind, but what tree? Well, the item description of both the original resin and the prototype crescent detail the existence of an Irminsul tree that originates from the Abyss, whose roots form the leyline system and sprout all the way up to the surface of Teyvat. If this confuses you or you want more information, I highly recommend you to watch my video on leylines, where I go into further detail on both Irminsul trees and the entire leyline system. So now we know Donsleaf to be a royal guard for the Irminsul tree in Khaenri'ah. But why would Khaenri'ah have a protection system set up for a simple tree? This is tough to answer because there aren't really any good explanations to this. You have to have a good understanding of the ley lines and the Irminsul trees themselves, but I believe the Art of Kemia is dependent on the Irminsul tree, or a product of the alchemy itself. In Albedo's alchemy practice, he's often seen working with ley lines, and because Albedo is most likely practicing the Art of Kemia, and Kemia being described as a process of creating life, I believe that the Irminsul tree has to be an extremely important aspect of the Art of Kemia. It may be a product of the alchemy, or even a requirement for the alchemy, because as we know, the Conrans did not worship any god or archon, so the only explanation that this tree would require protection is because it has importance to their way of life, aka the Art of Kemia. But where does all that bring us now? Donsleaf has been seeking revenge on the Abyss Order because he witnessed his friends and perhaps even his family turn into monsters. But where is he getting these strange abilities from? We witnessed Donsleaf use powers that do not resemble any of the elements in-game, and I think this ability is due to his connection to the Irminsul tree in the Abyss. I believe Donsleaf is quite literally channeling abyssal energy. If you look at Donsleaf's design, he has the same blue scars that are visible on the Irminsul trees all around Teyvat, and they span his entire right side essentially. My theory is that Donsleaf was involved in an accident at the destruction of Conria, and either took on a resonation with the Irminsul tree, which he now channels as a power, or he simply was involved at the site during the destruction, which caused him to kind of fuse with the tree to some degree, and that's where he's gaining this strange elemental ability. So that is my analysis on Donsleaf. I hope it wasn't too confusing, and if I left anything out or you want to add something, leave a comment. If you want to discuss more Genshin lore, check out the Discord link in the description. There you can see how I develop my videos, you can make video suggestions, and discuss with me personally Genshin lore. I'm trying to build a community where people can discuss lore from all aspects, whether or not you are an expert on the lore or if you're just getting into it. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.